Behold how good it is, and how pleasant when brethren dwell in unity.
This week, Jews enter the 19th weekly Torah portion, Teruma, which in Hebrew means offering. The text covers Exodus 25:1 to 27:19. God first commands Moses, "Make me a tabernacle so I can dwell among them." Verse upon verse, God lays out for Moses the intricate blueprints for the wilderness dwelling and its ritual furnishings. The tabernacle, known in Hebrew as Mishkan, was meant to be an earthly microcosm of God's celestial sanctuary. In order to imitate heaven, the artisans would require a good deal of gold and silver, yarns and linens, spices and precious stones. The Israelites held a collection. God specified that the offering was only to come from those whose heart compelled them to give. But give they did. The response was so generous that Moses had to send word throughout the camp that the coffers were full. How did nomadic and newly freed slaves own abundant valuables? The Exodus story briefly mentions that before their dramatic delivery from Egypt, the Israelites asked their Egyptian neighbors to help finance their exodus. After witnessing the terrifying signs and wonders of the God of Abraham, the Egyptians provided for the Hebrew slaves whatever they asked. And so the Bible laconically states that they plundered the Egyptians. The Egyptian booty likely came in handy for the building of the tabernacle. According to the plan given to Moses on Sinai, inside a curtained courtyard, the tabernacle furniture included a large copper altar, accessible by ramp for animal sacrifices. Next to it was a bronze laver for the priests to wash their hands and feet. Gold-plated beams and poles bolstered the holy place's tapestries and their overhangs. Composed of two sections, the tabernacle's first room contained a gold-plated menorah, table of showbread, and altar for incense. Behind the inner veil, they kept the Holy of Holies, or Kodesh Kodashim. The cubic sanctuary housed the Ark of the Covenant, a material object most exceptional in an otherwise anti-material religion, but it was connected to the immaterial God, his throne and his footstool. The ark was fashioned out of acacia wood, gilded with gold and topped with two winged cherubs. The angel's gold wings stretched out over the ark's pure gold cover. Inside the ark, only 4 feet long and 2.5 feet deep, Moses placed the tablets of stone with the 10 Commandments. The question naturally arises to the curious reader, why does the writer of Exodus spend so much time offering a verbal blueprint for the Mishkan? Usually the amount of textual space a given story occupies in the Bible is reflective of its relative importance. So if God created the world in only one chapter of Genesis, why does it take 6 chapters to build the tabernacle? In Exodus 25 to 30, God instructs Moses on the design of the sanctuary, which must be beautiful and inspiring, but also transportable and durable. In Exodus 35, the architectural details are laid out again, right down to the length and width of the fabric strips and the coloring of the yarn. Rabbi Saul Berman at Yeshiva University proposes that the tabernacle description is so specific because it is meant to serve as a protective tool against potential future corruption. After all, the Israelites held on to the tabernacle and its vessels for 500 years, from the time of Moses to Solomon. A greedy priest at some point in that period could have abused his constituents, taxing them or soliciting extra donations in the name of renovations. But the chapters repeat again and again, as the Lord commanded to Moses, leaving no question as to the absoluteness of the blueprint. The writer of Hebrews in the New Testament gives another perspective. The lengthiness of the text is in proportion to the seriousness of the task. The Mishkan was more than the Israelites' first house of worship. According to the author of Hebrews, it was a copy and shadow of what is in heaven. Moses had to ensure that his nephew and chief architect, Bezalel, carried out the divine directions exactly. The limitless God, in all of his infinite might, commanded his people to create a finite space to reveal a portion of his glory. That tall order required elaboration. After all, heaven wasn't built in a day. According to Jewish tradition, the tabernacle was stored deep underground when Solomon completed the first temple. Because it was built collectively and voluntarily, God never allowed it to be destroyed or looted, only hidden. Miracles still rest on the Mishkan. Shabbat Shalom.
Behold how good it is, and how pleasant when brethren dwell